After that embarrassing playoff series with the Utah Jazz, it has now officially been 50 years of this bullshit. And quite frankly, I've had enough of it. So, for today, I'm going to do a Seattle Supersonics / Oklahoma City Thunder Legacy of Failure. Do keep in mind that I will not be counting the 1978 / 1979 season because they did win an NBA championship during that year. So, let's begin, shall we? 1967. You are the spearhead of an expansion attempt from the NBA in order to create a strong competition market with the ABA. Do not fuck this up, Seattle. Unfortunately, you have no talent to build around, and you finish the season at 23-59. Oh well, at least you can draft high, and hopefully you'll hit on at least one of those players, right? 1968. With the third overall pick in the 1968 NBA draft, the Seattle Supersonics select Bob Kaufman of Guilford. You fucked him up so bad that he got shipped off to another nightmare of a franchise in the Buffalo Braves, who have already done a legacy of failure on. Great work, guys. Let's make sure to not make a habit of this. As for the season, you improved from last year and went 30-52. That's still bad enough to get a high lottery pick from the draft, so let's see who you handle with this one. 1969. With the third pick in the 1969 NBA draft, the Seattle Supersonics select Lucius Allen from UCLA. You stick to the script and ship him off to Milwaukee, where he played alongside Oscar Robertson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. God damn it, guys. He was good, too. Thanks in no part to Lucius Allen, you finished the year 36-46. Keep this up, and I see playoffs in your future. 1970. Turns out having Lenny Wilkens as a player coach was the best possible option for you guys. You can pull a Bill Russell and shock the world. You drafted Jim Ard with the 6th pick in the draft. In the Supersonics fashion, he instead plays for an ABA team in New York. This time you didn't even get to use your top draft pick before shipping him off. Regardless, you finished the year with an astounding 38-44 season and are one step away from a playoff bid. 1971. Alright, you're going all in this year in order to push for a playoff bid. The fans have been waiting patiently to see Seattle basketball team, and you have the depth and talent in order to do it. For the first time in franchise history, you draft a player in the first round and he stays with you the following year. His name is Fred Brown. The playoffs await you. It's amazing how teams can get the shit end of the stick even when they're good, but that's what happens. Despite going 47-35 and having a terrific year with Lenny Wilkens as both a player and coach, you missed the playoffs because the West was stacked this year and you placed 6th. Oh well, you still got your core intact and Fred Brown looks promising. 1972. Oh, never mind. Lenny Wilkens wants out of both playing and coaching. Whatever, you still got a high pick in the draft. Who do you choose? Bud Stallworth? Oh dear, he was a bust and fucked off a year later to New Orleans. Shit, that reminds me. Who's the new coach? Bucky Walter, eh? With a name like that, it doesn't surprise me in the least that you guys reverted to being terrible at 26-56. Congratulations, the Buffalo Braves are justified in laughing at you. That takes skill in order to fuck up that bad. 1973, Bucky Buckwalter is taken to the gallows and you get Bill Russell as a head coach. God damn it. You may not get to enjoy his expertise on the court, but at least he has a lot of coaching experience with the Celtics and can turn things around for you guys. And while you look at that, you won 10 more games than you did last year. At this rate, you could make a playoff bid. 1974. Bill Russell is a coaching demigod who leads you to your first playoff bid in franchise history. Sure, you may have only gone 43-39 in a weak Pacific Division, but you still got a wild card best-of-3 series against the lowly Detroit Pistons. Despite going the distance, Bill Russell uses his coaching powers to boost you past those Pistons in 3 games. Now you have to go up against the division champions in the Golden State Warriors, who, to nobody's surprise, pimp-smacked the shit out of you in 6 games. Oh well, at least you made the playoffs and proved to everyone that you're a playoff contender now. 1975. Wash, rinse, repeat. A 43-39 season followed by a loss in 6 games in the playoffs, this time to the Phoenix Suns. God damn it. 1976. Yet another year where you're on the fringes of a 500 season, except this time there is no playoff spot for you as you went 40-42. Also, Bill Russell has fucked off and he's gone. Great work, guys. Like Wayne Gretzky and Patrick Waugh after him, most star players do not pan out as head coaches. 1977. Remember Lenny Wilkens? Let's bring him back as our head coach, because why the fuck not? Along with Bob Hopkins, you are led out of the mediocrity and into the playoffs again. 47-35 in a wild card bid against the Lakers. To everyone's surprise, you upset the Lakers and go on to beat the division champions in the Portland Trailblazers in 6 games, and even won the Western Conference Finals against the Denver Nuggets in 6 games. You're in new ground, Seattle, the NBA Finals, and will you look at that, you're up against the Washington Bullets. This is a gimme. Washington's cursed. Have you looked at their hockey team? Will you look at that? You even forced a Game 7. You're gonna do it? From laughingstock to NBA champion in 10 years. Wait, what's that? You blew it? Yeah! Damn it! 1978. I'm not going to talk about this year because you did win the NBA Finals. 1979. Turns out hiring Lenny Wilkens again was a smart decision. One of the few ones you've ever had. This was a record year for you guys, going 56-26, coming out on top after going the distance with both the Trailblazers and Bucks. And you realize that Kareem Abdul and Magic Johnson as a rookie are your opponents in the conference final. You got dick punched in a mere 5 games. Better luck next year. 1980. Or not, finish out an abysmal 34-48 and miss the playoffs. 1981. You're back in action with a 52-30 season and another playoff bid. After going the distance with the Rockets, reality kicks in and you get taken to the prairie and shot in 5 games by the San Antonio Spurs. 1982. Your core is aging rapidly, but you're still producing. Good. We're making another playoff push, even though you should probably retool the lineup in order to get past this Lakers juggernaut. You refuse to listen to reason as you're swept by your old friend in the Trailblazers. 1983. That sweep from the Trailblazers? Poppycock. This'll truly be the year. Just you watch as you go the distance with the Mavericks, only to fall short. Perhaps now you'll tank for a younger core. 1984. In a famed attempt of staying relevant, you do nothing and finish 31-51. Also, Lenny Wilkens has retired. 1985. You hire Bernie Bickerstaff as your head coach. He leads you nowhere by repeating another 31-51 season. 1986. Dale Ellis wins the Most Improved Player award and Tom Chambers as an All-Star Game MVP. This is truly the year that you go 39-43. So what? The West was weak and you've still got a playoff bid. Miraculously, you got revenge on those fucking Mavericks in 4 games. And got revenge on a young Hakeem Olajuwon's Houston Rockets in 6 games. Unfortunately, reality kicks in and you're exposed and swept by Magic Johnson's Lakers in the conference finals. Ouch. Better luck next year. 1987. See, what did I tell you? 44-38 season and you're back in the playoffs. You do not get lucky like last year and go the distance with the Denver Nuggets, only to botch Game 5 and get sent home. 1988. This year was no different as you finished the year 47-35 and got the best of Hakeem Olajuwon's Houston Rockets again in 4 games, only to get swept by those fucking Lakers again. Learn the hierarchy. Love the hierarchy. 1989. You went 500 at 41 apiece and missed the playoffs. We need a scapegoat for this bullshit. Coach Bickerstaff, you're fired. 1990. It did nothing. You hired Casey Jones as your new head coach, and you finished with yet another 500 season. Because the West was weak, you made a playoff bid, only to go the distance with the Portland Trailblazers and fall short again. Fuck the shots, just give me a bottle of Everclear. 1991. You know what you need to do? Hire 3 head coaches in 1 season. I am not making this up. Turns out that it was the trick as you went 47-35 and made a playoff bid in a stacked Western Conference. You got the best of the Warriors in 4 games, only to get your balls stolen from underneath you by John Stockton and Karl Malone's Utah Jazz in 5 games. 1992. You decide to keep only George Karl as your head coach. This was a good decision as you finished the year 55-27 and got revenge on the Utah Jazz by going the distance and coming out on top. Speaking of going the distance, you did just that against Hakeem Olajuwon's Rockets again, only to lose in the Game 7 conference finals. However, I do have good news. It was not the Lakers. It was Charles Barkley and the Phoenix Suns. Yeah! 1993. The iconic 63-19 Bob Whitsitt's GM of the year. You won your division. You clinched the first seed in the West. Surely this would be the year. that you got upset by one of your many kryptonites in the Denver Nuggets. You know what? There's no point in being mad anymore. At some point, it just becomes funny. 1994, you shake off that brutal loss and finish the year 57-25. Even then, those Lakers still beat you in 4 games. It's truly amazing how you never lost to people like Hakeem Olajuwon, but couldn't get past the Lakers team even without Magic Johnson. 1995, the iconic year 2.0, 64-18 season. Gary Payton, Defensive Player of the Year. You won your division. You clinched the West. George Karl is making coaches lose sleep. The playoffs were amazing. You bitch-slapped the Kings in 4, swept Hakeem Olajuwon's Rockets, and strangled John Stockton and Karl Malone's Utah Jazz by going the distance and coming out on top again. You've returned to the NBA Finals. Unfortunately, Michael Jordan returned to the Bulls last year and had his way with you as he wins his 4th ring in 6 years. It doesn't matter. Just come back next year with the same roster, and I assure you you'll get the best of them. 1996. What did I tell you? 57-25 season with another division title. You even got revenge on Charles Barkley's Phoenix Suns by going the distance and coming out on top. Unfortunately, Hakeem Olajuwon only managed to upset you guys, as he goes on to the conference finals while you're golfing. 1997. It's your 3rd straight division title with another 60-plus win season. However, there's this kid from the Minnesota Timberwolves named Kevin Garnett who gave you trouble in the first round. Regardless, you escaped that series only to be the gift that keeps on giving to your Laker overlords. Also, George Karl's gone. 1998. A lockout means that only 50 games were played this year. Tough shit. You went 25-25 and missed the playoffs for the first time in 8 years. Way to send off Gary Payton's career. 1999. Things are back to normal with an 82-game season and finishing 45-37. This time, Jock Stockton and Karl Malone are too much to handle as you went the distance only to fall short. 2000. Despite finishing 44-38, you placed 10th in the West. No playoffs for you. 2001. Another mediocre 45-37 season. However, it is good enough for a playoff bid. Unfortunately, Tim Duncan and the Spurs get the best of you while going the distance. By the way, how are your Laker overlords doing with Shaq and Kobe? Impressive. 2002. And now you've been shoved back into the basement with a mediocre 40-42 input. 2003. Wash, rinse, repeat. 37-45. 2004. This Ray Allen guy's pretty good. He leads you to yet another division title in a 52-30 season. You made quick work of a fading Sacramento Kings squad in 5 games, only to get bent over and shown the 50 states by Tim Duncan and Greg Popovich again. God damn it. 2005. Nate McMillan is gone now. Bob Hill ought to bring us back to the promised land. Unfortunately, you're shoved back into the basement again with a mediocre showing of 35-47. 2006. You are the worst team in the league. Literally. 31-51. Time to resort to the draft. With the 2nd overall pick in the 2007 NBA draft, the Seattle Supersonics select Kevin Durant, forward from Texas. This is arguably the best draft decision in franchise history. It does not translate to wins as you're back at the bottom of the barrel at 28-62. 2008. Speaking of franchise history, you're moving on from Seattle and rebranding yourselves as the Oklahoma City Thunder. That won't piss off longtime fans. Not at all. Be prepared for a part 2.